There aren't many things in life more destructive than self-sabotage, and you might think you're a world champion procrastinator, but at least you can see and hear yourself doing it. Self-sabotage is a completely different animal because you usually don't know it's happening until it's too late. And many a fortune has been blown by a person who is completely blind to it going up in smoke while their friends try to wake them up. A gazillion relationships have been torched by people who have no idea their actions are ridiculous despite their spouse's warnings. And too many lives have been lost to self-inflicted illness and diseases that the owner was surprised to catch despite the cautions. That's the first problem with self-sabotage. We aren't usually aware that we're fully paid up members of the Mess It Up Club until we preside over yet another disaster plucked from the jaws of success. There we are, sitting in the middle of a monumental mess, and the second piece of the jigsaw reveals itself, and that is, how the heck did I do that? So not knowing we're headed over a cliff is followed by, how did I get myself into such a shocking position in the first place? And of course, there's no sensible, straightforward or simple answer. If there was, everyone would know it and everyone would be using it. Nevertheless, we start trying to figure out why we would do this to ourselves. And the lack of an immediate answer lulls us into the oldest trick in the book for a wounded ego, and that is to look outside of ourselves for someone or something to be the cause. It's a pretty natural tendency, really, and it makes a kind of a sense. If I can't find any reason why I would do this to myself, then maybe others did. And if it's not people, maybe it's the economy or the kids or the boss or the industry or the pandemic or something. Of course, the moment we lock onto this reason, we make ourselves powerless to affect any change because our disaster has been caused by something outside of us. It's both convenient and it's catastrophic. Convenient because it removes the pain of self-responsibility around the current disaster, and catastrophic because we're actually sentencing ourselves to another round of the same stuff happening inexplicably over and over. Yet in many ways, it's the repetitive nature of self-sabotage that wakes us up to the fact that we are the common denominator in all of these disastrous events. Eventually, we acknowledge that there must be some hidden deep inside ourselves that's causing the problem. It's only then we start the journey of repair. Taking personal responsibility is a turning point in ending self-sabotage. But there are two essential personal characteristics without which the journey won't even get started. The first is the courage to look within, knowing that we might find something ugly. And the second is to persist when the searching gets difficult and distressing. Once you've decided to take full responsibility, summon up the courage and committed to having the persistence, smashing self-sabotage just becomes a matter of time. But be warned, most people's first, and therefore only, attack is entirely superficial. It consists of attempting a change of behaviour. Now, I'm not saying that can't be done, but how do you practice, for example, not choosing a narcissist as a partner? Or not chasing the next bright, shiny, can't fail, easy as falling off a log business opportunity? Or going straight to the doctor the next time you get an ache or a pain? So changing behaviour or habits is fraught with danger, risky at best, and likely to end up with even more frustration. If we look at why that's the case, we also discover what we actually need to do. And as with all introspective work, finding the driver of our behaviour is more important than stopping the behaviour. That's tricky because our instinct is to act habitually and do what we've always done, which is to make the ugly feeling go away. Instead, we need to not be so reactive. We need to do nothing except sit with that uncomfortableness. That means catching high-level negative emotions while they're in full flight and stopping everything so that we can identify what's happening inside ourselves. Do that and you'll see what you've never been able to see because you were too busy being upset to be able to see what was right in front of you all along. Do that and you'll be flooded with realizations about what drives you. Do that and you'll know what the real drivers are. You'll also become aware of what would be the better thing for you to do in terms of words or actions. You'll be surprised at just how much fades away as a driver when you stare it right in the face. Most self-sabotage goes up in smoke when we turn towards the driver of it, recognise it and realise its untruth, its falseness, its bullshit. You'll be stunned by how simple yet how profound personal change becomes. It'll be very much like banging your head against a brick wall. Once you stop, you don't really have to do much else to change your experience. It'll feel like you've done a 180.